Organizational hierarchy. Organizational hierarchy and attitudes towards management roles can also vary wildly between cultures. Whether or not those in junior or middle management positions feel comfortable speaking up in meetings, questioning decisions, like from the senior decisions, or expressing a differing opinion can be dictated by cultural norms. Often, these attitudes can be a reflection of a country's societal values or level of social equality. For instance, a country such as Japan, which traditionally values social hierarchy, relative status, and respect of seniority, brings this approach into the workplace. This hierarchy helps to define roles and responsibilities across the organization. This also means that those in senior management positions command respect and expect a certain level of formality and difference from junior team members. However, Scandinavian countries such as Norway, which emphasize social equality, tend to have a comparatively flat organizational hierarchy. In turn, this can mean relatively informal communication and an emphasis on cooperation across the organization. When defining roles in multinational teams with diverse attitudes and expectations of organizational hierarchy, it can be easy to see why these cultural differences can present a challenge. Workplace etiquette. Different approaches to professional communication are just one of the innumerable differences in workplace norms from around the world. There are also cultural differences in business etiquette globally. For instance, the formality of address is a big consideration when dealing with colleagues and business partners from different countries. While it can vary across organizations, Asian countries such as South Korea, China, and Singapore tend to use formal Mr. and Mrs. and surname, while Americans and Canadians tend to use like the first names. When in doubt, erring on the side of formality is generally the safest. The concept of punctuality can also differ between cultures in an international business environment. Different ideas of what constitutes being on time can often lead to misunderstandings of negative cultural perception. For example, where an American may arrive at a meeting a few minutes early, an Italian or Mexican colleague may arrive several minutes or more after the start time. Communication. Effective communication is essential to the success of any business venture, but it is particularly critical when there is a real risk of your message getting lost in translation. In many international companies, English is the de facto language of business. But more than just the language you speak, it is how you convey your message that is important. For instance, while Philippines may value directness and brevity, professionals from India can be more indirect and announced in their communications. Moreover, while fluent English might give you a professional boost globally, understanding the importance of subtle nonverbal communication between cultures can be equally crucial in international business. While there are numbers of ways to define culture, put simply, it is a set of common and accepted terms shared by a society. But in an international business context, what is common and accepted for one professional from one country could be very different for a colleague overseas. Recognizing and understanding how culture affects international business in three core areas: communication, etiquette, and organizational hierarchy can help you to avoid misunderstanding with colleagues and clients from abroad and excel in a globalized business environment. Hi there! So, multinational and cross-cultural teams are, likewise, becoming ever more common, meaning business can benefit from an increasingly diverse knowledge base and new, insightful approaches to business problems. However, along with the benefits of insight and expertise, global organizations also face potential stumbling blocks, when it comes to culture and international business. While there are a number of ways to define culture, put simply, it is a set of common accepted norms shared by a society. But in an international business context,